My journey to hip hop actually started about 5 years before. In 1974, at All Platinum Records with Skip McDonald. And Sylvia Robinson was the artist and owner of that label. I was with a band by the name of Wood, Brass, and Steel. We put out a couple of records. And then also I was working with Sylvia for whatever project she wanted me on, Skip as well. So there was that training era of understanding how to make records and work with seasoned artists and producers and arrangers. So that's, was before I started doing any hip hop. So that prepared me for how to make records and translate what artists want. So there's that vibe. Now, fast forward, 1979 came around, and that year was a year that Skip and I kind of, let's just say, stayed away from All Platinum Records. We had a second album that we'd cut with called Wood, Brass, and Steel, Hard and Heavy, and it kind of got shelved. The label was going through some challenges. We had to find other ways to eat and drink water. So 9 months of 79 was based on that. Then Sylvia Robinson calls my mom's house. My house. My mom picks up the phone and she's looking for Skip and I to come and do some recording. And we're still a little, let's just say, we were trying to avoid that call because we, had some situations that happened before. So we were like, let me not pick up that call. And then she called again. So long story short, and Sylvia was always cool. I'm working with bands and I have older musicians that I've, listened to what their advice was. So now, fast forward, it's September 1979, and we're playing at a club with Brass and Steel with Keith LeBlanc now joins us, and it's like, I hear this record come on, and I'm at a club called Leo's Welfare Disco. And it's called Leo's Welfare Disco. It's right next to the welfare office in New Haven, Connecticut. Rapper's Delight comes on. So within about 4 bars, I knew it was an all platinum record because I had been working in the studio for years, 5 years prior. So at that moment, I went to the DJ and then I saw it was, Sugarhill Gang, which I never heard of. It was, but I knew Roulette Records because that's Morris Levy's label imprint. So I was like, oh, this is probably why Sylvia was calling the house, and this is, hip hop had been out already. But that's kind of that was the spark. So then I called Sylvia back, and then Doug, she had a sweet, lovely voice, like a mom, but sort of like a pimp as well. And I was like, Doug, I've been trying to find you and Skip. I got something hotter than hotcakes. And I'm like, oh yeah, Sylvia. So where are y'all right now? It was Sunday. I said, well, I'm at home right now. Can you come down to the studio and with Skip? Sylvia, Sunday, we'll come down the next day. So we did. We went down, and it was, we met Sylvia and Joe after a 9-month absence. And then we met Wonder Mike Guy and Hank. And we immediately went in the recording studio. It was like with the same day. What was going to be what I thought was just a nice meet and greet and say hello became a week of us going in, going right to the studio, starting to cut a few tracks. And then that weekend, we ended up doing a gig at a place called Harlem World. And that was with the Sugarhill Gang. So anyway, that's that spark. And from there, we met The Sequence in Columbia, South Carolina. And fast forward that, to give you the 1979 chunk, we got invited with the Sugarhill Gang to open up for Parliament Funkadelic on the Knee Deep tour. And that was a real game changer for, me, because I was a huge P-Funk fan from Dot. But for the Sugarhill Gang and for America, that was the first time that rap was being introduced to folks that maybe didn't hear rap. Even P-Funk, they had been on the road in their own bubble for like almost a year prior to us joining on. So back then you could do a tour that lasts 18 months. Some of the guys had never heard of rap.
But what was it called, rap already then?
Well, it was hip hop, So you can, You know, there's different, people can explain it different ways, you know, because you have B-boys, so everybody's involved. You have you have all the graffiti artists, break dancers, it's a whole collective, you know, but I guess you could, you know, for those that were really there, like DJ Herc and Flash and everything, I would, whatever they say it was, that's what it is, you know, but I'd just say it was early hip hop and, you know, and rap. Maybe it was just like rap. So George Clinton really put us on, toured America with Rick James, Parliament Funkadelic again. They were the headliners. Cameo, the Gap Band, Fazo, Roger Troutman. It was wonderful. It really opened up the frequencies for those that weren't familiar with hip hop / rap. And then, so there's that vibe. Now, Rappers Delight did very well, very quickly. So if you look at if you follow the history of when that record came out, you'll see that for the first couple of weeks, it was on Roulette Records, Rappers Delight. Then it just started to sell. And then I guess Joe, from how I kind of remember or heard, however, what really went down, I don't know, but Joe and Sylvia hooked up with, obviously, had Morris Levy that was involved. And then Morris Levy had a person by the name of Milton Malden that was involved with Morris, and they kind of like collectively got together and said, okay, we'll start a new imprint label. Like, and what is it gonna be? And Sylvia used to live in Sugarhill in Harlem. So that's how Sugarhill, the label came. The name came from Sylvia, where she grew up. So there's that. That's all happening like in a matter of weeks, like September of 79, maybe even August of 1979 to the end of that year. It was just like an explosion, boom. So now, back to the core of what was going on, what was it like? Well, it was actually really amazing when I look back to see how things just happened. You know, Sugarhill Gang blows up. Funk You Up, big song. Now Grandmaster Flash comes over to the studio. And that was the beginning of having in a sense, the key creators of hip hop and rap that were now at Sugarhill coming there. So Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So they arrived. That was a game changer. Now there's a new studio being built. So now Chris Lord-Alge's there, the great engineer to this day. And so now the level of production is elevating. John Jiggs Chase came in as an arranger. Ed Fletcher, AKA Duke Booty, came in as a percussion player. So now we have a team with Skip and I, because we already worked with Sylvia for some years. So she knew our cadence and our frequency. She trusted our Skip and I. She always went to us for advice. And I went to Sylvia to kind of like keep her engaged, because she knew how to make records. Sylvia, what do you think? How do you want me to play this bass line? She'd go, Doug, I need you to do that. And I knew what that meant. Or just do that woo. So things weren't written down, it was all emotion. You know, so you learn how to get to the core of what you're asking. Now I'm dealing with making records that have emotion and frequencies attached to it, as not just the notes, it's the expression. How do you translate what a rapper's saying? It was, it was unscripted. A lot of people looked down at rap music at that time. A lot of my friends that I grew up with, they were like, why are you doing this? But I learned over the years how to understand what a rapper's saying.
Why was that people were looking down upon it?
Probably because they didn't understand what was going on. They thought it was a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Then people start to see where the frequencies are changing. So it's like rap. You got to remember, Rappers Delight blew the roof off of the industry. Here's a record that was probably made for $1,000 and some fish sandwiches, and next thing you know, it's one of the largest. Biggest selling 12 inches of all time.
Right.
So anyway, you have the industry that was in its own frequency of like, oh, we're gonna, okay, you're a band, we want to get you signed, okay, cool, blah, blah, give you a little bit of money, go in the studio, there's this whole setup. That's not how it was with Sugarhill. Sugarhill, we made records quick. We could go to see Here's how it would go down. I would go sometimes with Sylvia to go see Flash spin at Disco Fever or at a club on a Friday night. See what he's doing. It's very simple. Just watch what he's spinning and watch what gets people on the dance floor. Monday, go back to the studio. Maybe Jigs will be there. Flash coming with his turntable. And then we try and remember, some of the highlights of what was going on. And Flash will start spinning. We go, that groove is kind of cool. That groove, okay. Let's focus on these key elements and put them all together. That's Monday. So by Monday evening, maybe we would have already written out the arrangement or started to play it down. The rappers already got certain arrangements. Melly Mel and them were geniuses. They could do stuff on the spot. So say on Monday, we already had an idea of what we were going to do and tune in on it. Maybe Monday evening, we even had some stuff on tape. Tuesday, we're knocking it out. Overdubs. Drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, whatever. Jigs is writing stuff out. Wednesday, the horns come in. Maybe whatever, put that together, add on to what we already did. The rappers are there probably by Wednesday as well, early knocking out Thursday. Whatever touches, by Thursday evening, they're making a mix, studio. Friday morning, Mr. Magic comes over from WBLS and Joe would hand him the acetate because they had a burner there.
Right.
Could play the record 3 times.
So it was organically oiled machine.
Organically oiled machine. But here's the kicker. By Friday, you could hear that song on Mr. Magic's Hour on the radio. And I'd be driving back to Connecticut. 5 days. That's the difference. And that's what hip hop is, just going, it's organic. It broke all the key frequencies of how to do this, that, and the other. So they just got it done. They just got it done. So, for me, it was like, again, I had that experience working with Sylvia. She knew how to make records. She's a genius. She came with game. The rappers, you had to listen. And it wasn't about like, okay, we're gonna practice some scales or whatever. It was like, I have to watch the rapper and okay, what are you feeling? Maybe they had a certain beat. Okay. What kind of frequency are you putting on this? How is it? What kind of swagger you want on that? And that's how these tracks work. You listen to the rappers and go, okay, this is their frequency. All the rappers had their certain kind of vibe, certain vibe.
So